Hello everyone, welcome to Web3 TV. My name is Lisa Amnegard and today we are in Abu Dhabi at the Bitcoin MENA Conference 2024 and joining me right now is Tim Popplewell, CEO and founder of Cintilla. Thank you so much for joining me.
No worries, great to be here.
How's the day been so far?
It's been amazing. Yeah, lots going on here, lots of interesting people. Met a lot of people I already know, some new faces as well, so it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great event, and there's the turnout is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk more about Cintilla. Your company is very interesting. You're the first VAR-compliant company, and you're creating effective ways to tokenize real-world assets in various different sectors. So tell us a little bit more what's happening at Cintilla right now.
Yeah, so I founded it, and I've recently taken it out of DLA Piper, who is a global law firm, and it was built in there originally, but they don't really want to be involved in regulated activities, so they've very kindly handed it to me and remained on the board at the same time. So Cintilla was born out of effectively some tokenization technology that we built about 3 years ago. So we have a technology around tokenization and around broker dealing. And now we have licenses with broker dealing and exchange. So we've effectively got the end-to-end journey of tokenization
So it's kind of like
covered.
a one-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop. We also do the advice based or consultancy based on the fact that we've got lawyers and accountants, finance people, technology experts, tokenization experts, and so on. So we from the moment you've decided you want to do something in the tokenization space, we can help you all the way through to the secondary trading.
And why is tokenizing real-world assets becoming so important right now?
There's a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, we're at a crypto conference at the moment, and that's certainly one of them, is the fact that it somewhat legitimizes crypto as crypto becomes a bit more mainstream. Huge layer of security and safety around it. We ourselves, as a regulated entity, add to that as well. I could go on. I could rattle on. How long have we got? I could rattle on for the next 20 minutes about the advantages. But really, it's about bringing it to the masses, about the key things around us being regulated, security, safety, and democratization of finance, I would say, are the main ones.
Yeah, because when we look at the tokenization industry for real-world assets, these days you can tokenize everything. Certain things, for example, for me, it makes sense to tokenize gold because that's always going to have a value. But these days you can tokenize pretty much anything. So as an advisor or someone who founded Cintilla and are advising people, when would you say, okay, don't tokenize this?
We always look for what problem are you solving. And if you're tokenizing and you've got a nice solution, but you can't tell me what the problem is, then we'll probably steer clear of it for now, because we think there's enough solutions without problems. So we're trying to ensure we just focus on those.
You focus on solving problems, not creating more problems.
Yeah, I mean, you can tokenize anything. I mean, you can tokenize a shoe if you want. We were talking about it earlier. But why would you? I mean, what problem is it actually solving? Yeah. So we look at the big problems, like you mentioned, gold and real estate, for example, the housing crisis at the moment. It makes sense to look for new ways of creating liquidity in the real estate market and allowing people who perhaps can't afford a house at the moment to get on the property ladder. Certain financial products as well make sense as well to democratize it and actually allow the likes of you or I, or the kind of normal person, I don't know whether I should really put myself in the bucket of normal people, but are allowed into those markets as well. So
yeah, inclusivity.
Yeah.
So we're here at the Bitcoin MENA conference, which focuses on the MENA region and adapting cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, into society. So when we look at the tokenization of real-world assets, which sectors in the UAE do you think this tokenization should exist more, or where would it solve problems?
I think the three that we're focusing on more than any, is it 3 or is it 4? We've got sustainability projects. So if you think about it, the climate change isn't going away, and there's a whole bunch of sustainability initiatives. There's some finance projects, and obviously that's big in the Middle East. There's real estate, and then there are precious metals and commodities, I would say. They're the 4 areas where I see tokenization having a fairly big impact, and in some an extremely big impact.
And when it comes to tokenizing areas in sustainability, can you explain more what that means? How does that look like?
Yeah, long topic of conversation, but in a nutshell, there are pretty obvious ones like the provenance of carbon credits and those markets. We're not that excited about that. But there's others about how we actually provide liquidity into some really cool projects happening in the third world, for example, where they maybe can't get funding from the usual more traditional methods, but they want to do things like crowdfunding for certain activities and so on. So it could be forests in Africa, for example, or it might be re-greening of old mines. Which are really fascinating. So forests, for example, if you think about a forest that used to be a mine, it's not just the trees, it's the wildlife that live there, it's the people who live there, it's the economy that they build up there, and so on. So there's an enormous ecosystem in some of these projects.
So how would you earn money from that?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because tokenization of real world assets is to sort of
whole bunch of ways. So it depends what you are. It depends if you're an investor. So if you're looking to build a forest, for example, or bring a mine back into forestry, there's a whole bunch of ways you might want to raise money. But then, for example, you could if you're investing in that. Some of it is philanthropic in terms of you're investing in a tree or a part of that forest. But others is, like as I said earlier, the carbon credits that are involved, the economic produce that might come out of that mine, and so on. So there's a whole bunch of really interesting ways you can do it. And I hasten to add that it's not me that's thinking of these things. I mean, there's some extremely talented people around the world working on these projects. What we can do is bring it to life with our end-to-end solution.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting now that more people are looking into various ways to tokenize real world assets and to see where it's going. Is there anything else you would like to add when it comes to tokenizing real world assets?
Yeah, I think it's been slow, but there's a lot of people building, and it's interesting being around here today on a Bitcoin conference, where you can actually see there's an awful lot of people building. There's a lot of people been in the background, in the shadows, and literally I've just, before I came on air here, I was talking to a guy who's got an incredible project that he's been building kind of in secret. I think a lot of these kind of secret projects are going to come to fruition in the next few months. And then at the same time, you've got a lot of old Web 2 companies, very large companies, realizing that there's no way out of this, so they may as well lead it. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of activity, and I think what we're going to see in 2025 is an absolute deluge of really exciting projects, many of which I probably haven't mentioned today. They might be entirely new areas.
So exciting projects within tokenizing real world assets. Yeah. Do you think that's going to be the main trend?
That's the trend. I mean, that's the way it's going.
Well, it's good business for you to be in right now.
It's fantastic. We're regulated. We're in Dubai, the best place on earth. It's fantastic.
And are there any new launches or any announcements that you have that you like to share?
Watch this space in January. Okay. We've got a whole bunch of things that we're working on at the moment. For various reasons, I'm not allowed to say what they are.
Keep it top secret.
I know. No, I'm not allowed at the moment, but in January I will be able, and there's a whole raft of announcements coming out about projects we're working on, some very nice hookups as well with some other infrastructure players, so we can provide a even wider service. So yeah, lots coming.
That's exciting. Yeah, so if anyone wants to check out what you're launching and announcing in January, where can they find you?
Cintilla Network. Check us out on all the usual places, we'll keep you posted.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. It was a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, small mine.
And thank you, Web TV, for watching. I'll be bringing you more interviews. I'm Lisa Amnegard, and I'll see you soon.